Are you tired of having the same and boring generic kicks as everybody else? Perhaps you're just looking for ways to spice up your sneaker game or just add a little more color and pop into your footwear? Well, for this week's Fashion Tip Friday, we're going to be talking about how to do a lace swap for your sneakers. I wanted to share a couple strategies on how you can turn your sneaker collection from something like this to something like this. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Dang and thanks for kicking it with me today. My channel focuses on style, sneakers, and science, so if you're into any of those things, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content related to those topics. Back to the subject matter, you guys are watching this video because you want to learn how to spice up your sneaker game a little more and just add a little more color. So as you know, most sneakers, if not all, pretty much like 95% of sneakers, pretty much come with the generic white laces like these and like these. And don't get me wrong, I love my fair share of black and white sneakers or just keeping it clean and classic and standardized, but sometimes you just want to have fun with it and again add a little more character to your kicks. One of my favorite things about being a sneaker enthusiast or a sneakerhead is the idea of having a lot of colors in your collection. There's just something visually pleasing and appealing about collecting things with a variety of different colors, mixing and matching and things of that sort. And actually the crazy thing is just simply by making one small change, by swapping out the laces for a different color or a different texture, can totally change the appearance of that sneaker. It totally adds a lot more personality, more character to that sneaker, aside from just the standardized colored laces that it already comes with. So let's talk about the different strategies in terms of picking and choosing the right colors to mix and match for your sneakers. Before I get into it, be sure to hit that like button and again subscribe to my channel for more content on fashion and sneakers. With that being said, there are three main strategies that I want to talk about in terms of picking and choosing your laces. But before I get into those three strategies, there is this one piece of fundamental information or knowledge that you should absolutely know, and it'll make a lot more sense once you know this piece of knowledge right here. And that knowledge is the idea of color theory and knowing about the color wheel. So if you Google search color wheel, Google search color wheel and you'll see something like this. Basically it's an assortment of colors in a circular map, I guess. But I'm going to click this one because this is the very basic and generic version of the color wheel, the very introductory version of it. And this is going to set the fundamentals of what I'm about to talk about here. So here's the basic color wheel, and you'll see that there are 12 colors on here. On the right half of the circle, you have what we call the warm colors, and those are your yellows, your oranges, and your reds. And then on the left side of the circle, you have more your cool colors, which are your greens, your blues, and your purples. Now again, understanding this color wheel will dictate the strategies we're about to talk about because it's all about understanding where these colors sit in relation to one another on this wheel. So we're going to reference this wheel here for the three strategies I'm going to talk about. So strategy number one I want to talk about is called choosing complementary colors. What that means is complementary colors are colors that sit opposite from one another on the wheel. So if we have here red, if we reference red as our main color and we want to pick a color that complements red, we would go literally across the wheel on the other side and what you will see is green. So that's the example I have here is red and green go together like Christmas, like Gucci, like the Applebee's logo, right? Red and green complement each other, which makes a really bold kind of statement. And so with this lace swap here, these Pumas of course typically come with the white laces, but I threw in the red laces to complement the green accents on the sneaker, and hence we have this lace swap right here. Another example of complementary colors is, let's talk about blue. I have the Jordan 1s in the royal blue colorway. What is the complement of blue? Go across the wheel and what we'll see is orange. So blue and orange goes together like the New York Knicks, Sunkist and Fanta Soda, Burger King, things like that. So for this other example of complementary match, I have blue and orange laces, of course like the Union 1 lacing pattern, but aside from that, again, blue and orange do go together because they are complementary on the wheel. It does make quite a bold statement, but just another strategy to go about. So one more time, strategy number one is complementary colors. Strategy number two is what we call analogous colors, which is contrary to complementary. Complementary is when colors are opposite to each other on the wheel. Analogous is when they are on the same side or beside each other on the color wheel. So let's reference orange again for this example because I have some orange NMDs right here. If we wanted to go with an analogous strategy with the color swap, then an example I picked here is yellow. Orange sits right next to yellow on the color wheel. These NMDs originally came with these monochromatic laces, but I thought it had just a little more color, so you can't go wrong with either red or yellow based on the analogous strategy. And so this is what the lace swap looks like when you add yellow on top of orange. This gives off a little more of like a warmer vibe, or I guess summer, sunshine, warm fall kind of vibes, I guess. But I think it works, so that's another way to go about it. And another example I have here are these Air Max 1s. This is more of like a, what they call monochromatic strategy, but it's pretty much the same as analogous. Here we have the hot pink swoosh, but I added some light pink laces. Obviously both are pink in this monochromatic colorway, but they still sit on the same side of the spectrum. Lighter shade and a darker shade of the same color in relation to one another is another analogous strategy for lace swapping your sneakers. So don't be afraid that it has to be a hard match like blue and royal blue. Try like royal blue and baby blue, or like light purple, dark purple. Analogous colorways or monochromatic colors always seem to work in its own sense. So that's strategy number 2, analogous color scheme. One more strategy I want to talk about here is the triadic strategy. What that entails is you basically pick 3 colors that are all adjacent to one another on the color wheel, and it forms a triangle. In this example here, if you reference green, the other 2 colors to make the triad are orange and purple. The example I think of with that is if you're familiar with the Sakai's, the Nike Sakai's, you notice that they use those wild green, orange, and purple colors in that sneaker. And it's wild, but it kind of works together. That's because they use this triadic strategy. The more common and more hallmark examples of this colorway are red, yellow, and blue, which are your primary colors. So back to the color wheel, if we reference yellow on the very top right here, the triad is red and blue, forms a triangle, and this is why I have this sneaker as an example. This isn't talking about lace swapping specifically, but just in terms of color scheme, the upper on this sneaker has components of yellow, blue, and red, and it just all goes together. The other most popular example right now out are the Union 1s, as well as also the Nike Sakai's, but the other colorway. They all use the primary colors and it just works. It just flows well. It really pops and stands out, and it really makes a statement. So in that example, if you have a sneaker that has even some level of red and yellow on it, just throw in some blue laces and you have that triadic strategy just to really add that extra layer of pop and flair and character. So these 3 strategies that I discussed are hopefully just ways to lay down the foundation and floor work of how you can approach lace swapping your sneakers. It obviously gets a lot more complicated when you go into the different shades and tints and hues within each color, but I think at the end of the day, as long as you just understand what the color wheel is and how to use it appropriately to your taste, you can get really creative with this process and really spice up your sneaker game. At the end of the day though, I really don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this thing. It's really all about the creative process and just having fun with it. Just mix and match things that you think might or might not go together, and it might work or it might not, but that's just the fun of it. You just got to experiment with it and just find out for yourself. And whether it works out for you or not is just one person's opinion, so don't be afraid to experiment and go ham with it. So let me know in the comments below which combination of colors you think, or what strategy you think will work best in terms of your taste. Or do you have any strategies in mind that you might want to incorporate into your next sneaker? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far into the video, please hit that like button. It'll really help me out a lot. While you're at it, be sure to check out some of my previous videos here and here. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.